Hello, everyone that's coming in right now. Just give us a moment. We're letting you guys come in. Get your pencil and paper ready. I hope you guys are excited for Cupids and couples. We have so much great information to share with you guys here with the Community and Economic Development team. We will be introducing ourselves, and also make sure that you have your chat open. Familiarize yourself with some of the toggles at the bottom. There will be an opportunity for you to raise your hand and participate at the end, but we do want you guys to be involved through the chat. We're going to let everybody come in. Maybe about 1:05 we'll get started. We have a poll that's up. We do require for you guys to take this poll. This is going to help us help you. So as you're coming in, go ahead and take the poll and get ready with your supplies. You will be receiving so many beneficial resources and things that you will want to take notes on. So I see some good people in the chat. Hey y'all, what's up? Got our participants coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody, we're just waiting. Yeah, we got my coworker Ed out of Kaufman County. Let us know where you're coming from. Drop your name in the chat right now. Make sure it's working. Once you finish that poll,
you can go on and get started.
I'm excited to really. All right, we got Donna coming in from H-Town. Yes, Donna. So happy to see you in here. Like I said, if you're just getting in, we're going to get started around 1:05. We just want to give you guys some time to take the poll so we can be able to help you guys out with some resources 101 after this.
And before we dive in, just a quick word from our sponsor for today's webinar, Chronicle House. Chronicle House is a micro content developer service for small businesses and personal brands. If you're tired, if you're tired of the daily content creation overwhelm, Chronicle House specializes in batch content creation that actually works for you. So if you want a little bit more information, you can visit chroniclehouse.com or follow chronicle.house on Instagram. Content without the chaos.
Cheers to Chelsea.
Shout out Chelsea. What's going on, Donna? What's going on, Myron?
Yeah, good to see you, Myron. Welcome in, everybody. You will see a poll on your screen. Go ahead and take that poll as you're coming in. Also prepare your tools. The poll will be ending in 1 minute.
So, and like Scholar said before, as we go into the flow of the presentation, just all the different questions, we'll be asking questions throughout the presentation webinar. So you can type your responses into the chat, or if you feel like you wanted to shed some light on the situation and talk a little bit, you can always raise your hand and we can unmute you to go ahead and chime in. So very, very interactive webinar today.
Okay, so we got our poll that's going to be closing in about 10 seconds or so. So get those in. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to Cupids and Couples. I'm so glad that you guys are here to join us for this financial literacy webinar. You're going to learn so much. And I just want to give you a little background on why we're doing this, our intention, and the impact that we want to make here in CED. Our main reason is to educate you guys on financial planning, investing, budgeting, structures, organization, and resources that can be very beneficial to you in order to escalate in both partnerships, teamwork strategies, as well as things that you may be doing on an intimate scale with your partner. I mean, that's the base of all foundation, is knowing how to communicate, trust. I mean, there's some duality in that word. We know what a trust is. And so we'll also be touching on some of the definitions throughout our webinar, and we will be getting started. I just want to introduce myself formally. I am Skylar Ross Ransom. I am the CED agent of Angelina County. That's up in the Lufkin, Nacogdoches area. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it to my coworker.
My name is Edwin Crittenden. I am the Kaufman County agent. That's directly east of the DFW Metroplex. Some call us a part of the Metroplex. But yeah, hailing from there and been with CED a little bit over a year now. And yeah, just looking forward to bringing you all some great content today.
Excellent, excellent. Like I said, if you're hopping in right now, drop in where you're coming from with your name. But let's get started. So during the presentation, you guys are going to have an opportunity to participate in some games. We're going to do some icebreakers, starting with a little bit of an intro. We're going to think about your money mindset, your background, your history, some of the things that you may have learned that may be some good things and some bad things that kind of make you feel financially insecure. And so I'm going to go ahead and present the question, and I want you guys to participate in the chat with your answer, okay? Does everybody have that? React with the thumbs up if you have the reaction. Seems good. Okay, our first question. Describe your relationship with money in one word. Again, describe your relationship with money in one word. While you guys are dropping in your one word, me and my Ed, I think we've had this conversation before, and I think my one word was semi-fluid. What was your one word?
I believe my one word was I don't remember my one word, but if I could think about it again and just go ahead and state it, I'd say congruent.
Congruent. Wow.
Congruent.
Elaborate on that. I think that's actually a very interesting term when it comes to finances and just our relationship with money. So what do you mean by congruent? Could you explain a little bit more?
Well, in this role, just having to increase my knowledge and understanding about different situations revolving around money and how it works, within our daily lives. Just wanting it to actually not only help other people, but also help myself as I try to build my life and start a family and do all those things that what we call the American dream. I say the relationship is congruent because I want to be able to grow with it and help other people's grow with it at that same rate.
Excellent. Well, just to share some of the responses that we got going, we've got healing, estranged, growing, transactional, and pragmatic from Ashley. I really like that one. And we got a double on transactional. We got a double hit on that one. And I feel that transactional is important because when it comes to money, we have to keep the transactions going in order for you to create currency and flow. And again, like I said, the trust has duality in the word, but also currency, just like water and flow and money and energy. You have to put something in. You got to take something out. You got to put something in order to have compound interest, right?
Right. I agree.
Okay. So moving on to our next one. We want you to drop one word. Describe yourself. Are you a saver, spender, or a planner? Again, describe yourself when it comes to money. Are you a saver, a spender, or a planner?
So we got one spender in the chat, two planners so far.
Yeah, so if it comes to myself, I would say that I'm a planner, especially with being in this position in CED. I've been a saver, but like we were speaking on earlier, there has to be currency. You have to be able to put some things out and put it in and take it out. But some of the structure that I'm learning from this position have been budgeting and savings and investments and how to do that. And so I've now transitioned and become a planner. And with becoming a planner, I've definitely seen a lot more of an increase in my ability to be able to maybe have some extra expenses or take some vacations or be able to tell myself no in certain areas because I'm looking at my plan and I'm saying, okay, based on my ultimate goal, I'm looking at my plans for maybe some financial goals and things that I'm trying to hit. And I can tell myself in this area, I need to save more. But in this other area, I could be a little bit more fluid. And I might be able to buy those new shoes that I kind of wanted or go on that little vacation. You know what I mean? What
Yeah,
about you,
yeah,
Ed?
yeah. You know what? I have to agree with Morgan. Well, before I even go into that, if you have any questions or Q&A, please hit the Q&A icon on the bottom of your screen to let us know if you have any questions. But I would agree with Morgan. Morgan says it's a little bit of all. I say all, just simply because you wouldn't want to prodigiously save, prodigiously spend, or plan to the point where, uh, well, in my perspective, as you wouldn't want to just be all just that one person that does all that just to do it. I'd be more of a person that want to stay balanced and like you were saying, fluid earlier with all those things. If I need to spend a little bit to in order to make someone happy or make myself happy, you know, I will. If I need to plan a little bit more in this season of life, I'll do that. But just being able to be fluid, I say.
I agree. So it seems like the key word of the day is being fluid. And I think that flows into that planning area and just hitting all of those things and having balance, right?
Yeah, you
So
set the tone. You set the tone.
yeah, right, exactly. So moving on to our next question. How comfortable are you with discussing your financial status? And if you're highly uncomfortable, I want you to put a one in the chat. If you're very comfortable and you feel like you can talk about your credit, you can talk about your expenses, I want you to put a five in the chat. Anything in between, if you're like neutral and you're kind of straddling the fence, put a three in the chat. So, Ed, what's your number, 1 through 5? How you feel about talking about that money, man?
About your own expenses, so I'll be a little bit biased here, and I put it two. I put it two.
A two. Okay, okay. It's kind of low on the scale. I ain't gonna lie. I think
Yeah.
when it comes to me, I feel a four. And that's kind of
You
high. I'm not totally a five, only because I think that some things do need to be gate kept. You know what I mean? When it comes to some intimate spending, because people could try to take advantage of the fact of, hey, you might have this, you might have that, and too much transparency without the certain trust or hitting certain nodes within relationships or discerning with who you're sharing that information with. You know, I'm always willing to share certain things. If I am learning something new, then I'm willing to share that. And a lot of people are very close-handed about that, even their own
hmm
things. But I feel successful, and I feel one thing that I've always learned is that successful people can give. Right. And so, because of that, I've been able to do that. And again, bringing that currency and flow is if I give that knowledge and I share that, I feel like it increases my spiritual and my financial wealth in the world. So I'm leaning more on that foresight.
Okay, okay. But just to state the fact that you know nobody would want to be able to just put all their business out there, but you want to also practice what you preach too. So I'd say that's a rolling number. I say I started at two, but I want to get to a five. I want to get to a
Right.
five. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, expenses, just following up with our expenses is always very important. So, Ed, right now we're going to be able to share with you some of the 21st century and some information and knowledge. This is where you want to screenshot, you want to get your pencil out and write this information down because Ed is going to share with us some information about expenses as well as investments.
Yeah, definitely. So just starting it off here, I want to start with the expenses. Is this the correct screen? Yes. So I just want to start with the different various types of expenses, you know, that we all have over our lives. Starting with lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation isn't talked about too much in circles. It's whenever your income increases, your spending increases. You should always aim to keep your lifestyle and expenses the same to avoid feeling broke. That broke feeling to where you get your direct deposit and About a week later, you're already asking for coins. You don't want to make that a recurring feeling in your life. You want to be able to budget properly and stake out your expenses to where if some things you would need versus some things you would want, you don't want to always prioritize those wants over those needs. You got to pay your bills, but you shouldn't always go and buy that extra pair of shoes this month. All those different wants. Going into the needs versus wants. Yeah, yeah. You want to add on that, Scholar?
Yeah, I was saying have to determine what is priority, and if you feel it within yourself, like I said, get that pencil and paper, maybe write a few needs and wants down.
Always better to write something down. Always better to write it down. But going into those needs versus wants, do I need this, or is this just something that I desire? You gotta be realistic when you're talking about your desires as a person. Is it something that can I go into tomorrow without having this thing, or is it something that I can't go in tomorrow without? Making those daily decisions is where it all ends up coming from anyway. So every
Right.
dollar can also make a dollar.
We got Myron in the chat saying it's hard to turn down Stacey Adams. So we got a spender in the chat.
Oh man, I would agree. I would agree. I would agree. Especially when you're getting up there and trying to be a bit more professional with your dress. You can't shy away. A suit, get a full suit, top and bottom. That's almost $500. So that's an investment. That's what we call an investment. So
Yeah.
rolling over into the investments. Myron is a good co-host. So investments like the stock market and the casino, each one can be an investment. They actually kind of mirror each other. Stock markets and casinos. You can put in money and lose it. At very very fast clips. So they both have operating hours, and try more practical forms of investment. I would say, investing in things like real estate or stocks and bonds or precious metals, things of that nature. And we'll get into a little bit more of that on the next slide. Next type of expense, we're going to talk about types of accounts. Where to save your money is the most important aspect to saving and investing. Banks offer an array of accounts, but not always offer the best when it comes to the amount of interest that's received on those accounts. So, exploring different umbrellas such as high yield savings accounts, cash value life insurance policies, things of that nature, it really offer you a safe expense that allow you to get your money back tenfold maybe one day, or if it's just saving up for a rainy day. These types of accounts would allow you to be able to operate a little bit more on the feasible side, for lack of a better term. We're going to talk about automating. Automating is a great tool that a lot of these services offer. Allow you to have your accounts withdrawn from, so that you don't have to worry about going in and tediously putting in money to these different debts. You could just automate it and have it pulled out of your account. I know you don't want to, because you want to be able to see that money sit in there and be able to do at your will with it. But these different expenses could end up hurting your credit score, different things like that. So you want to utilize automating as much as you can. And always, always, always separate your business expenses from your personal expenses. We talk about in the different courses that we've had, especially in Kaufman County, Fire LLC is artist startups. We talk about separating those business finances from those personal finances, because you don't want them cross pollinating at all, because it just ends up hurting you on the business end, and it may give you a false sense of security on the personal end. So, as a business owner, it's always important to separate your entity from your personal. And
And
just to
just
go,
jump. Oh, my bad. And just to jump in, because Myron is saying that he could talk about his spending, but don't ask him about his saving and investing. And I feel like based on that automating portion that you said, because that's an area where he isn't that strong in, that automating could really help and be a resource and a tool that you're able to use. And I know that with Bank of America, they have an auto transfer, and you guys will get a worksheet at the end with the resources on how a step by step on how to set those up with your banking account, and how to determine if it's going to be 33% of this, what does that look like, and how to go about that. And we're always available to support you with that as well.
Definitely, definitely. Just going into some solid forms of investing in the 21st century, this day and age. With all the technology integration, stocks, bonds, indexes, and ETFs are always going to be easily accessible. I'd say you're kind of playing Russian roulette a little bit if you don't do your homework on what you're investing into. You don't want to just be blindly investing into different stocks or indexes that have certain markets that you may not be paying attention to, or you may be looking to someone else's opinion or following them and seeing how they do it. Well, they're not always going to be able to stay in a timely manner to be able to update you on those things. So I'd say that's the most risky out of all of them because you just need to be able to analyze and do your homework when it comes to investing in stocks, bonds, and different electronic transfer funds. My favorite, precious metals. Precious metals actually gives you at a certain clip. If you're to do it at a scale that to where you're kind of nickel and diming, it might not be as solid of an investment unless you do it over time. But precious metals could offer a base to where you could gather a tremendous amount and be able to leverage it and open up credit lines at different financial institutions, and then those credit lines be able to fund different business ventures, and then you be able to make liquid funds off of that. But precious metals actually gives you a good base because it never depreciates in value; it only appreciates. So as you hold it, you're essentially making more money opposed to having a currency in your pocket that's losing value every day. So precious metals is a good solid form of investing. Same with real estate. The land under the building would never depreciate. It will only appreciate.
Mhm.
As time goes on and we see more and more financial institutions and big entities stress on people and the different assets that they have, trying to devalue them. Land will never lose its value. So, being able to, if you had the opportunity, take the advantage of investing in some real estate of some sort, building of something, and actually be able to manage it and appreciate it, through taking care of it and making sure the land around it is good. That'll always be a solid form of investing, as well as diversifying. Always making sure your portfolio doesn't have one of these. You should, if you could, invest in one. I mean, invest in two or all of them. Be able to diversify your portfolio and have different ways to access, capital, essentially, and aligning your goals, which a scholar could tell you a little bit more about.
Yes, and I just want to jump back on that real estate. PV being the agricultural base of one of the top HBCUs, we offer so many land grant opportunities, and we also have our specialist, our housing specialist, that's Shanta Harris, who is so well informed. She gave us a few resources that we're going to be able to share here with you guys, but definitely tune in and make sure that you guys are familiar with some of the land grant air classes, resources, and research that PV is doing, because we're really making some strong strides that can really help you, especially with everybody moving off grid and obtaining their legacy and things like that. So be on the lookout for that. But as for jumping back onto the goals and things like that, you guys are going to get a worksheet at the end of this, and feel free to be able to reach out to us. But with the worksheet, you're going to be able to set a structure for your savings, for your budget, and for your investments. And so I want for you guys to start to percolate and think about that, because we're going to revisit that. Okay. So as we are moving forward, we are going to play a game right now. So pay attention for everything, and get your emojis up right now. Look at your red heart and your green heart. We are going to play green flag, red flag, and these are the rules of the game. So I'm going to present something to you. Once I present it to you, I want you to determine within yourself, is this a green flag or a red flag for me? And I want you to drop either the red heart or the green heart in the chat. Okay. Green flag, red flag. I think everybody knows that. We all know the red flags and people that we see, but do we know the green flags? And our job here at CED is to turn red flags into green flags. So let's get started.
Looks like Shanta
Okay.
got one red flag.
Okay, so our first one, green flag, red flag, secret debt.
Mm.
Secret debt. For me, off top, red flag. Red flag.
Yeah, I say red flag too. You don't want to keep any secrets, especially when you're trying to build a covenant with someone. You want to be able to have and hold that person, be able to hold them true to the Lord and to the light. So any red flag is a bad flag.
Right, exactly. I think the only time that maybe potentially it could be like a yellow flag could be, I think we've had this conversation before, is that debt isn't always a bad thing, and here we are with that transparency, bringing it back again, is that sometimes a person might be on that investment curve, and so maybe there just needs to be a conversation about what the secret debt is. But like you said, financial hiding anything, I'm going to have to discern from that I can't trust you, because what's going
Yeah.
on, like, you're making some bad decisions and things like that, it's like financial adultery. I think that was the term that you used back in the day, and now I'm hitting everybody with that. You know what I'm saying? And that does a lot, you know what I mean? That does a lot for a person. And so I think definitely across the board we got some red flags on that one. So
Yeah.
next one.
I think we got Donna has her hand up.
Okay, we got Donna.
Can we unmute her?
Okay, first, I don't see no red hearts. Or where the hearts supposed to be? I see some lips on Chelsea's shirt, but where the hearts at? We just type in
If
red flag.
No, if you look in your chat area above on the box, you're gonna see the happy face. The happy face is where you'll find your emoji. In the search the emojis, you can type in green.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, I am
Um,
dropping in a green right now for you guys to see. And here I'm typing in a red heart. Everybody get that? All right, perfect. All right, so next one. Green flag or red flag? Merging finances, as in bringing joint accounts.
Hmm. I want to see what everybody has to say about that one.
Hmm.
If there's some married individuals here, I want to see what y'all have to say too. Feel free to raise your hand. Look.
As a single person, and this might attune to me being more open and flexible, I'm actually a green flag on that, on merging some money. And maybe I'm like kind of yellowish green, but I feel like if we're going to build together and it has to do with like a project, or we are in a relationship or any type of partnership, even if it comes to teamwork, it's going to be a green flag for me if we are able to compound those things and say, hey, here's the transparency, and we can both be able to look at it and hold that communication and say, hey, this is where we're going to make our first investment. Here's where we can calculate these things, X, Y, and Z. And for me, it's a green flag.
Yeah. And I like what Myron had to say about it. Myron says, yes, I definitely think someone ought to be able to say, yeah, I have other accounts without disclosing the amount of money in them. He said he's a 25 year joint accountant. So uh, that's a nice piece of advice, to put out there to everybody. Me, with the little experience that I have in my 26 years of life, I'd have to agree with Myron and Scholar. I wouldn't want to discourage anyone from thinking that they can't, do something in the realms of managing money with me. It would be more so of, trying to start a trial run, like you were saying, do that project or do something ancillary at the beginning to see how each of you react, because that's big. You don't want someone who's an overreactor, when it comes to installing finances in a situation. You don't want someone who doesn't have much of a reaction. Well, I wouldn't say not much of a reaction, but someone who doesn't really have a care for it. You would want someone to be able to say, okay, since we're doing this, we're going to have to approach this tediously and, line some steps out and things of that nature. So, yeah, just someone who you be able to trust at the end of the day. Trust is the other word. Fluid and trust. Those are the two words of the day.
Right. So we got Elliot who's coming in and he says that a certain percentage into the joint account is okay. So he's giving yellow flag. And then we got Ashley that's saying definitely a joint account for bills and major expenses is definitely necessary. And she's coming in with 12 years of marriage. And I would say that's giving us some good advice because we got people with double that. Miss Donna's coming in with 33 years and she's saying she has separate accounts, so a lot of good feedback there, especially as we're moving towards our unions.
Yeah.
Okay, our next one,
it.
green flag, red flag, money schemes and hustles. Y'all gonna be surprised what I say here, but I'm gonna say that's a green flag because if you know anything, and my buddy Ed, we got some red flags already. My buddy Ed can attest to this, is that whenever I'm thinking about something, I'm such a creative person and I'm always the person to come with something. And if I see an opportunity for us to monetize, I say, I'll bring it to the people who I have around me, who I feel are associates. And I'm like, what you think about this? Because I'm seeking counsel. Not only that, but I'm seeking partnership as well. Because sometimes you bring the hustle, it's like we can't be doing anything on the street, but sometimes the hustle can be, hey, how can we develop, if I have a pressure washer and somebody says, you know what, we was just doing that outside, somebody passed by us and asked could we do theirs, and I say, hey dog, we could probably make some money doing this. Do what you think you want to try to AI use ChatGPT? That might seem to a person, that might seem like a scheme and we're not thinking all the way through. But at the same time, that's the first step. That's the first step towards entrepreneurship. That's the first step towards manifesting the ideas into fruition, where there is a skill or a trade that we can transform into some type of financial investments or income for ourselves, right? Just based off of everyday practice.
Right. And I like what Bridget had to say. Bridget said hustlers equal additional revenue streams. That is a proverb right there. And I'd add to that, also being a green flag for me, you want someone who would be able to, put your wits together and the skill sets that you've garnered over your professional career, over the years that you've done certain things, be able to put those skill sets together and be able to create something. I can speak from watching my parents. My mother just retired from Dallas ISD. She was a 30-year veteran. She taught and ended up being a principal in her latter years. And, she's out now. And, my dad being a federal contractor for that same amount of time, they're both going through I wouldn't say toils, but, just the process of being able to, merge the two skill sets that they've had and be able to build, a business of some sort, attack, different opportunities out there that, entrepreneurs have, especially our main what do you call it? I'm missing the word here in the moment, but our main program that we have as a CD unit, the Bid Academy,
Yes, our
coaching
bid.
people on how to take advantage of the Texas Comptroller's website, how to go after and execute contracts, things of that
Right.
nature. That in itself, accomplishing that is the very verbatim of what we were talking about here. Just two people being able to hustle and build a revenue stream for their family. We watched Mr. and Mrs. Hebert do it. They're
Exactly.
walking examples of that.
Exactly. Making it official. Not everything is a street thing that's meant to hurt our community and our culture. Even if it doesn't make sense, there's always a supply and demand. And that's what we're built off of here in CED, is community and economic development. And we want to give anybody the opportunity to make their dreams come true. And when it comes to making our dreams come true, I think one thing as we transition, when it comes to couples, and you guys drop in this green flag or red flag, is when you get into a relationship, and I'm going to take a quote directly from a singer that says, a house is not a home. Who said that? Okay, a house is not a home. So when you get married, how is it a green flag or a red flag to start discussing home ownership? Home ownership. That's a good start to an investment on partnership. Maybe a business you can't see head to head at first, but home ownership, that's your essential. That's your happy home. That's your sacred space, you know? And while I'm discussing that, I'm going to share with you guys, like I said, from Ms. Shanta, who is our housing specialist, some resources that we have available that's also out there. And here we have the IDA, and these resources are going to be shared with you, but I just want to give you a little bit of background. And this is pretty much a match towards investment. So when it comes to home purchases, you'll have a down payment to a purchase or a home and you pay close to the cost. So maybe you have like $5,000. They'll match you at that $5,000 and now you have $10,000. So it makes it a lot easier to be able to get the things that you need. As you can see as well, here are some other types of IDAs. And also, I just want to share another resource, and you guys will get this resource. But here we have the Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation. And this gives you just more information about first-time home buyers, housing counseling, and savings and things like that. And just to give you a little rundown about what the IDA program is and things, it's about saving and matching funds deposited into a matched savings account, and which can be typical to purchasing a home, starting a small business, and higher education for job training, which these two also fall into our sectors as CED, which we can be able to help you guys with that. So think about those ideas. If it's something that you're thinking about, maybe, you know, maybe you want kids, maybe y'all want to form a deeper connection and stuff like that. The house is the first place where you can be able to determine, hey, how can we utilize? There are different aspects. I think even someone mentioned about bills and things like that. That's the major thing that we all care about. We all have to deal with. So these resources will be shared with you. And as we move into our last one, green flag, red flag, this one's going to be a big one, and don't be shy. Bad credit. Green flag, red flag, y'all. Bad credit. Again, I'm gonna be that devil's advocate again, and I'm gonna say with the yellow heart, right? I'm gonna say the yellow heart because sometimes things happen, you know, sometimes things happen. And I feel that if you're making certain types of risks, they're high risk is high reward. And sometimes we don't always have all of the tools and education, which is why we're here, education to make those decisions, but we had to make a way, right? And while credit is something that they have built, a construct that they have built for us, sometimes it's not always a direct reflection of those things. Hey, maybe we were young and we made some poor decisions about utilizing a credit card that somebody wasn't honest with us about how that works. Oh, I gave money. You know, they're going to tell you the top end, but they're not going to tell you the back end, right? And so some of us struggle with having bad credit and things like that, but you can always come up from where you are. And Ed, I want you to share, what is too low of credit to be accepted? What is unacceptable?
Well, now it might vary. It might vary here, you know, with the various ages in the chat, and with me being pretty young. But I'd argue anything lower than a 580 is pretty bad. 480, you might as well just go and hang it up. But you want to try to get to that 600 and above, you know, just so you can be able to make a couple moves, you know, just make a couple moves. Donna has her hand up again.
Yes, go ahead, Miss Donna. You have your mic on, Miss Donna? Okay. Good.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I feel like that child in the class, and I'm like, ooh, 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 pick me. I do not think, okay, so I'm definitely old school. I don't think credit, this is just me. I don't think credit has had or has any place in my relationship with my husband. I get it. We had really bad credit when I mean, I don't even know. I didn't care. I'm not, he was fine. No,
Right. You're not even thinking about that.
I wasn't even thinking about that. And guess what? We've been married 33 years. This is the fifth house that we've bought. So I think if my husband, if we were dating and he was like, what's your credit score? That would have been our last date. I'm sorry, because I think that's very superficial. Just me. This is just me. Y'all know me. I would have thought he was very superficial, and that would have been it for me because, you know. I don't think credit should. I mean, like a lot of people in the comments are saying, it can be improved. Y'all can work on it together. I remember when we tried to buy our first home, the real estate agent actually said, "Y'all actually married each other with these credit scores?" Man,
Yes. Yes.
yes, it did. But that's it.
It's a real
All
love. You
right.
can't attach a number to it.
Exactly. And that's why, I came in immediately with that yellow flag because, again, the education and why we are here for financial literacy is that a lot of things were not giving to us, just like there's no place in the education system where they're teaching us anything about money, mortgages, what you should do on bills, how to structure a credit card, how much you should be paying off, and things like that. And so we go into debt in a lot of areas, and the debt is what creates the bad credit. And so, just on the topic of debt, our friend Ed here is going to share with us just some scenarios so you can be able to look at what good debt and bad debt is. Like I said at the beginning, I'm okay with a little bit of debt. At first, Ed had to educate me, and I informed him that, hey, I feel my nervous system is uncomfortable with debt. But then he gave me the education through this same slide to say, well, if you want to be able to escalate, you have to understand what good debt is. And so here we go. Take us away, Ed.
Yeah, so this is just a little synopsis over the whole good debt, bad debt, or better debt conversation. Starting with the bad debt, or in parentheses, debt on anything that is not increasing in value. First of all, on the list, my most hated two words in the English language: payday loans. I hate payday loans. Payday loans are predatory lenders. They're in business to take advantage of those who have no handle on their day to day or month to month expenses. So these are your cash checking places. Your I don't even remember the names on all of them, but there's too many where I grew up. So seeing
Scam.
people have to deal with those interest rates and have to put up the deeds to their houses or their cars, to be able to get money to pay, pay off bills that are going to be there 30 days later. That's just the, start a bad debt right there. Rolling right into credit card debt, especially for non-essential purchases, vehicles in particular, because they depreciate as soon as they leave the dealership. Credit card debt, can stack up on any one of us. You get that credit limit increase after being a good steward of your credit for a little bit, and then one or two things happen, and now you're $6,000 in the hole in credit card debt. It happens to the best of us, but just being able to handle that and be a good steward of it, would allow you to make some better decisions. But credit card debt is another example of bad debt. Medical and student debt, and we all have a little bit of both. So while you are afforded an opportunity to expand your horizons by getting a college degree, immediately put together a plan to pay off that debt, as it just frees up more money to be able to build with. So just dealing with those student loan services at the end of the day will help you be able to make better decisions financially as you go forward in this life. So some examples of a good debt or better debt, or debt on anything that is increasing or compounding in value. Rental properties, everyone aspires to be able to rent and help people out that they know, or be able to just hold properties in their name. Owning and investing in rental properties not only look good to lenders, but it is also an asset in general to make financial moves long term. Like I said, being able to build those credit lines with different creditors, especially if rental properties, you be able to build some credit lines with some different companies that allow you to outfit your properties with different furniture and whatever it may be, renovating things of that nature. Just having those different accounts, and actually being a good steward of them, paying off your debts. Those look good to lenders to be able to get more lines of credit and more opportunities financially. A mortgage is another example of good debt. Buying a home is often one of the first steps to what we know as financial stability. Paying a mortgage and investing in appreciating your property only brings more equity in the long run. So paying your mortgage is always going to be a good thing. Even when you don't want to, sometimes paying your mortgage is always going to be a good thing. You got to have a roof over your head. Got to have a roof over your head. And of course, business loans. Funding a startup or expansion that generates revenue is an example, But seeing the ideation through and executing a solid business plan is what makes this a great debt. Being able to see something come to fruition that you planned, that you came up with. It's the same as building a sandbox, and being able to see it withstand a couple of waves on the beach. Nothing beats being able to brag about something that you built. It's the same as being a parent. I don't have that. I don't have that blessing yet, but seeing my parents, look at me and my sister, it just gives me a little bit of a look into that. But a business loan is always going to be a good example of good debt.
Okay, excellent. Well, as we transition into our budgeting area, I just want to tap back into our Q&A. And Ed, if you could bring up that budgeting page for me. There was a question that said, we want to buy a house in the next few years. What financial steps should we be taking now to prepare? And I want you guys to, for our next exercise, take out your pen and paper, open your notes, open your phone, whatever you need to do. Now I want you to put these things down. I'm going to give you the 3 essentials. The first one is check your credit score. As Ms. Shanta already put, aim for 620 plus. It's good. 740 is even better. Okay, you want to save some room. Okay. Next one, save for a down payment. Okay, this is about 20%. Put that magic number up there. Okay, 20% of the home price. Next, build an emergency fund. Okay, build your emergency funds. Emergency funds are so important. That takes about 3 to 6 months of expenses. Get pre-approved, not just pre-qualified, y'all. Okay, pre-approved. And a lot of these things, sometimes it's language and words. So if you don't know what these things mean, no worries. This is what we are here for as CED. You can schedule some time with us one-on-one and we break down all of this stuff for you and we look through your resources. We also protect your integrity through honoring any type of things that you want and helping you out through some of this language because, again, we've never learned this stuff as a unit. So there's that. Now, let's switch it to this budgeting. So get your paper down right now. And also, I want y'all to engage on the track. Okay, this is where we're going to start to talk about our structures. Okay, this is your tables, your cash flow, all that different stuff. So I want you to put 1, 2, 3, title it income. I want you to think about where you get in money. How do you get money? Even if it's that under the table babysitting, cash money. Where are you getting money and credited? Maybe a donation of some kind. Right? So maybe like, hey, here's an offer and a voucher. Do you receive things like that or like points like the airport? That's also things that equal money, right? Okay, what is your salary? Do you have any separate businesses? Write those 3 down, just those titles. Where you get your income from. If anybody wants to put their stuff in the chat, they can, but not right now. So next, let's talk about tracking your expenses. Okay. In the chat, I want everybody to put the one thing that is the highest expense in your life. What is the highest expense? Is it rent? Is it okay? The Donna's saying car note. Is it food? Is it your kids? Okay, because some of us have children. Right. Okay, tap in. Okay, is it, am I in doctorate school and are they asking me for $500,000? Like how much money they asking me for? Am I hoping for a scholarship? Those are things that are expenses. While they aren't for a long time, they are things that we need to jot down. And I think mainly everything that people are saying are little humans that we have, our children, and also our home and everyday use car expenses are in that area. Okay, next. The power of manifestation is so good. And this is if nothing else, I want for you guys to take the first step with me as we go forward, okay? And as you guys know, we have the transition. If anybody pays attention, we just had the Chinese New Year. That's February the 17th, and we're coming in hot with this fire horse energy. Is supposed to be a very powerful year this year, right? And so let's start it off right. If Erykah Badu said, with real pen and real paper, that's the manifestation technique. And so I want you guys to set some goals right now. I want you to set 3 goals, and I want you to think first, your short-term goal, a long-term goal. And then I want you to look at certain categories. What's really important? Do you have any goals in your personal, in your own business? Do you have some goals that you want to make in acquiring this much money for this thing that you want to do? And then write that number down. Write first the word and what the goal is for your short term. Then I want you to put a number. And in the power of manifestation, you got to think big. You have to think big. Don't ever think less of yourself, especially if you're here in this room right now with all these resources, as PV provides things for free, baby. Okay. And we are here to help you. And with the team, you can go further. And so think big on your short-term goals. Think big on your long-term goals. And when it comes to you and you showing up for yourself, definitely think big right here and think about your dreams. Think about the things that you might have told yourself, hey, man, I think this is out of my limit. I'm way old. It's never too late. It's never too late, especially if you're in this room with us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so our next one is a budgeting method. We are going to send you guys a worksheet where it will have some tables into different types of budgeting methods. We have the 50, 30, 20 rule. We got the zero-based budgeting rule and the envelope system rule. If y'all know what the envelope system rule, I'm about to give it to you in another way. Under the mattress, grandma's pocketbook. Y'all know what that is, okay? That's that grocery. That's that granny. Can I get that candy and that money you got for church and the tithes? Can I get a little bit? Okay. And some of our world leaders got an investment from somewhere, a mother, a grandmother, someone like that, you know? And so here are some ways that you can be able to do that. Maybe hiding your cash somewhere or putting it somewhere. That's the point of the envelope method. And so also on that paper, I want you to look at these 3. And to say to yourself and be realistic, maybe you don't have that much structure. I got a little bit of ADHD, and this 50, 30, 20, while it sounds real good, am I going to be consistent with that? I probably won't be too consistent. I have to teach myself that. And so what might be better to me might be that envelope method under the table, or to have different colors. And so I actually have done that because I want to obtain something. And so I put a little bit, me and Ed have a challenge that we're doing, a little challenge amongst each other, is we decided to put about $20 almost every week, if we have it available to us, to the side. And then at the end, we're going to put that towards our goal and look at it and say, what you going to do, man, with this, and or whatever it may be, you know. And that's how we're holding each other accountable. And I just want to circle back to look at how important words of positivity, trust, currency, accountability, those are inputs and withdrawals. Those are terms of intimacy, as well as natural terms that fall into financial structures. Okay. Accountability is so important in relationships. Currency and energy is so important in relationships. Trust is so important. And the trust is how we get in the big money. Okay. We all want to put some trust in there. And so just this last one, adjustments and automatic payments. And Myron said something about this earlier. He's like, don't be asking me about my investments and my savings and things, but that's okay, Myron. What we have for you is a step-by-step guide on how to work with your online payments. That's whether it's Bank of America, Chase, Capital One, whatever it may be, in order to figure out how to set up an auto pay, as well as how to calculate with X, Y to Z based on every month how much you can be able to send, as well as date structure. If you know you're getting paid on this day and you know that your bills are happening on this day, we are going to help you and assist you with that. Okay, that's what CED is here for, to help you build structure and organization in order to actually be proactive. And with structure, do you have real success? Okay, I think that might be the one thing that we're all missing. And so I hope that y'all got this that your manifestation. Put this wherever you need to see it, on your maybe in the bathroom, maybe on the counter, maybe in your car on the dashboard, maybe in your phone, as a reminder. These are all things and strategies that CED is going to bring to you in order to have that. Okay, Ms. Shanta says the manifestation is real, and I want y'all to really believe in the fact that just this one method right here, and you writing this down and me getting your mind on it, is what starts to get the energy and the flow going towards it happening. All right, Ed, you wanna take us
Oh,
into?
Donna has her hand up again.
Oh, Miss Donna, yes, Miss Donna.
Oh, my hand tired from being up so long.
Oh, girl.
I really wanted to say something back, a couple of slides about bad credit, about
Okay,
you had a split screen
yeah.
for bad credit and good, no, not bad credit, I'm sorry, bad debt and good debt. Um, this is a question for you guys. I Is credit card debt really bad debt? Because in going from really bad credit to, I think my credit score is over 700 now, which I'm really happy about. But um, I learned that there's a game to increasing your credit score. So I see the bad credit, I mean, the bad debt and the good debt. But sometimes, can y'all talk about how credit card debt can be good debt because it helps increase your credit score um, by increasing your
Usage.
credit, like how much credit you have available to how much credit you actually use. Um, and just paying that bill consistently and on time, it helps build your credit. Can y'all talk about that a little bit? Because I understand that credit card debt is bad debt, but it also maybe can be good debt. Can y'all talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's good debt in the realm of just being able to use it. Bad debt because you're not able to leverage it.
Oh,
When we
gotcha.
talk, yeah, when we talk about good debts, good debts come from the ability to actually have that listed as an asset on your portfolio
Okay,
and being able to leverage it and get a line of credit from a financial institution of some sort. So
gotcha.
that's really the only caveat.
Okay.
Is it good, Miss Donna? You good?
Yeah, I had something else, but I forgot. Oh,
It's
automatic. Y'all talked about automatic payments. I used to be very against automatic payments because I was like, suppose I can't make the payment or whatever, right? But now it is such a helpful thing to have automatic payments because I don't even have to think about it and my bills are paid, without me having to go, it's just automatically done and it also helps my credit score.
it definitely does. Well,
Mm.
thank you for that. Ed, go ahead
Scott.
and bring us.
Oh, I wanted to touch on this money versus currency real quick before we get into the
Oh
resources.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, so
definitely.
here's another little
Ooh,
tidbit
we.
of information. People don't really know too much about the difference between money versus what currency actually is. So, money in the eyes of those that understand higher ups and people that withhold information. Uh, uh, Money is actually things like precious metals, the ability to leverage and paying lenders. Any asset, is what money more so is. Currency is a promissory note, the pieces of paper that countries make up to be able to have legal tender. And the thing about currency is always going to be able to lose its value. It has the ability to go to zero. Assets and real money, don't have the ability to go to zero. They can't. Assets and real money only appreciate in value. So it's real important to be able to understand that holding currency opposed to holding money is really what allows for these financial institutions to keep a proverbial foot on our necks because we don't understand that holding these assets is has way more value than just trying to get to a certain number because you'll never be able to beat the financial institution when it comes to trying to have a certain dollar amount, a certain number in your account. Uh, Actual money like precious metals, leveraging, to different accounts that you can get from holding things like precious metals or real assets like land or real estate. Those are what's going to be able to allow you to build your financial portfolio to a realm that it hadn't reached before. So just understanding that uh, um, holding more real assets is what's gonna allow you to reach that level. So Donna has a question. So money is tangible, currency is not. Yeah, I'd say currency is not. It's tangible in the aspect that you're able to see it. Money, you really can't
Here.
always see it because like you're saying, like the asset, it won't have a dollar amount on it. You can go get appraisals. You can go look at what the appraisal districts, different cities have different appraisal district websites. You'll be able to go see what different values on land that you may hold, what it holds at the time. But yeah, that's a simple way to put it. Money is tangible, currency is not tangible.
Beautiful. Well,
Yeah, so
Ed, let's go ahead and open up the floor for
research.
everybody, the participants that are here. We are going to put some questions up just to get you guys mind thinking, but we want for you guys to drop in any questions now that we have given you this spiel for everything. We want to answer and provide to you any solution or direct resource to any question that you have. So you can go ahead and drop it in the chat, or you can utilize the Q&A as well if you want to click on that, which you can also see people's answers, and we will be giving verbal answers. If you would like to say your question out loud, just raise your hand as well, but seeing it in the chat would also be good. So it's on you guys. Like I said, we have resources. You guys are going to get a worksheet with how to set up your step-by-step guide, your budgeting, your savings, as well as that IDA and CRA investments for small businesses and things, courtesy of Ms. Shanta, as well as different types of financial structures and plans. Okay, and here we go. We're going to read this first Q&A as we already answered. And how do you start investing as a couple with neither of us really knowing where to begin? And so Chelsea is saying, max out any employer 401k match first. Okay, that's free money. You have to consider opening the Roth IRA. I actually just got into understanding my Roth IRA, and I'm very proud of myself because now I automate it. I utilize that same thing that I learned through automation to send things into my Roth IRA. And while I don't have children right now, it does make me feel very good and very proud to think about the fact that my parent thought about that for me, and I'm thinking about that not only just for myself but for my kids and anybody that comes behind me. Also, we got another question. Should we be thinking about life insurance and wills even though we're young and healthy? I would say I'm not thinking about it, but low key I am, because I put things in my notes all the time, because life is, we got to cherish every moment of it. And to leave a legacy is so important. And Chelsea says, especially if you are married or planning to get married at some point, life insurance ensures that if something happens to one of you, the surviving partner isn't financially devastated. Okay. And I've been through that. When you're grieving, it's too hard to do anything, and the grieving is a wound that never is very, very hard to heal. You know what I mean? And so in terms of life insurance is affordable when you're young and healthy. Think about $20 to $40 a month. I mean, me and Ed are on this challenge, and this is some information to me. I could be putting that money underneath the mattress right now just to take care of myself, because I want to have a person and I want to be able to introduce my practice to him, to know that he cares about me and I care about him in that way as well.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could add to that, I know
Mm-hmm.
that us as individuals, being how we were raised and things we were different exposed to as young people, life insurance and wills have always been something that your grandfather and your grandmother was supposed to take care of at some point, so y'all could have or not argue over the all the family heirlooms and assets that are being passed down. But speaking from myself and what I've experienced, I have like three or four life insurance policies out on me since I was like 18. And people like they'll see like, oh, you're just preparing for the inevitable or things of that nature. When you look at it from a business perspective, those policies actually are an asset. As we were talking about money versus currency, that's another form of money. Being able to take those insurance policies and actually leverage those, for cash value, to be able to build lines of credit, to go forth and do more business. Those are actual assets that you could use going forward, and not just setting things up to take care of your kids or your grandkids and things of that nature. You actually set up these trusts. People call them estate plans, wills, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, they're all trusts. These are uh, uh, assets that you can put together yourself with just a binder. You list all the different assets that you have, and a plan, for all of those assets to be passed down. Then you can actually do a mandated requirements for your heirs, to be able to access, these different accounts. They have to meet certain benchmarks, if that were, what you wanted to do. But utilizing all these different financial tools is what allows, our children and next generations to be able to take advantage of some things that you may not have, or we might not have been able to, see as our lifetime goes, but they might have the opportunity to, because, this groundwork is put in. So yeah, it's not an old people thing. Not at all.
Great. Well, we are going to do one more thing, and it's going to be some role play to something that was dropped in the chat. And this says one of us co-signed for a family member's loan, and now they're not paying. Now what? So, Ed, I want for us through developmental exercise to role play what we could do, or how we can start that conversation. Who would you like to be, the person that co-signed or the person that's not paying?
I'll do the person that co-sign. I'll be the person that
Okay, the
co-sign.
co-signer. All right. So I'm the person that's not paying. Okay.
Okay.
So open it up like, hey, you texting me, calling me. Hey, look at it. I gotta get back to you on that. I've been having a lot going on in my life and everything. I appreciate you and everything that you're doing, man. But I got some things going on with my shorty, and life kind of getting hard. I got this contract job that I'm doing. I'm gonna get with you on that, because I appreciate you, man. Like, it ain't nothing. Don't worry about it.
But I'm gonna need you to get back to me though, because we can't just have this laying out here, and able to be taken advantage of by some debt collector. We gotta take care of our debts, man. So I need you to get back to me. I need you to get back to me, because we gotta handle this. I wouldn't want this loan to go into delinquency and be able to hurt a little Johnny with what he has going forward. So yeah, please get back to me.
So what you need me to do, man? I mean, I guess I really just don't know what you need from me. I mean, I'm trying to make this money, but let me know what it is I can do to make it better. Cause right now, I'm kind of lost, cousin. I just got out.
You know what? We could go to the bank and actually sit down and try to discuss, the actual situation, try to get a better repayment plan with the lender, or we could consolidate it some kind of way, figure out some sort of payment plan. I got Chelsea saying red flag in the chat. Yeah. So no, when you're handling these things, you want to be able to, like we were saying earlier, have somebody you can trust. And if I can't trust this person to be able to uh, uphold their end of the co-signing of the loan, we can't really do too much going forward, but see each other at the reunion, and kind of give a little head nod. So yeah, that's a big red flag. Big red flag, man. I didn't want you to do me like this. You didn't have to do me like this.
I guess I just didn't know how to bring the conversation to you. Cause how would you like for me to talk about this? I feel inferior when it comes to my finances, man. I'm out here, I'm a black man, trying to get their money up, but I don't know how to talk. I'm feeling insecure about not being able to be where you are. How could I open up the discussion for us to be able to talk about these things that maybe I can't meet? What would be best for you?
Well, just sitting down and actually what you're doing the part now and just being realistic and telling the truth. And now we all have to do is sit down and orchestrate a plan to be able to tackle these things. You're not going to be able to in one sitting. It's going to take tedious steps at each point to be able to tackle this. But, you know, man, I appreciate you for telling me the truth right here and now. And I actually have a resource over here at Prairie View CED unit. They have a local agent that could help us sit down and line some of these things out. So, yeah, we can sit and talk to them.
Well, that CED sound good, man. I did a little bit of research and you already know PV,
Oh,
Thank you. That was good, right? All right. So
yeah.
as y'all can see, this is how we open up that cut, right? So this is how we open up the conversation. We all know that we go through hard times and that, our before it turned into getting a government contract and that it was underutilized businesses and things like that, those who are set out and maybe the minorities for stuff. And just because your cousin and them make mistakes doesn't mean that it's not a way to open up. You if you're gonna be that cosign, and a lot of people saying don't cosign, but you know what? When you're leading with love in your heart, God does see you. You know what I mean? And they work it out if you choose to work it out. If you choose to be a leader, and also to remember that the CED program is here to be able to provide those resources and to align those people who may need some help along the way, need their hand held, and are going through some struggles because we can help with professional development, workforce trade, and skill to get that person on their feet and where they need to be.
Yeah, and I like what Janelle said. She said cousin needs to ask for a hardship or a deferment of some type. I agree. Right on, Janelle. Right on.
Well, we're gonna drop that outro poll, right, Ed? You got
Yes,
that
yes.
for
Outro
us?
poll coming up next.
Yeah, with everything that you guys have learned here, I hope this manifestation tool, as we go into again the fire horse and everything, we want for you guys to just do this quick poll. It's only three little things and a little note if y'all want to give us some feedback. This really matters to us. If you want to put anything information in that last square about how we can follow up with you to help you start this process, to help get you into our bid academies. We have Chelsea's bid academy that's coming up April 1st. We have my bid academy that'll be happening in the summer, June to July, as well as Ed's bid academy in the Kaufman
In the
area
fall.
in the fall. So any information that you guys are willing to provide to us, any feedback will be great. And so we want to thank you for participating and being here for our financial cupids and couples. And you guys be on the lookout for more of these. I know Miss Shanta and I should be having something on the psychology of home ownership and investing and things like that. And so I'm really excited about that. This was Edouard saying it was lovely. Thank
Yeah,
you so
appreciate you,
much,
Edouard.
everybody. And I want to say thank you to my co-stars here, Ed, and really thank you to Chronicle House, who has produced this completely and totally. It would not have run, this whole thing would not have run without a moderator, without all of the production and the media and the content that you guys are seeing. That takes time, that takes editing, that takes skill, and that is coming directly from someone here in-house, and that is Chelsea up in Tarrant County. While she's a CED agent, she is also a business owner, and Chronicle House is the place. Content without the chaos. And when I tell
Without the
y'all it's no
chaos.
chaos, there was nothing that we had to do, literally. And usually I feel like, oh man, should I give something? And it was nothing. So thank you again to our supporter here with Chronicle House. And again, appreciate everybody in here that participated. And I hope that you guys got all the things that y'all needed.
Yeah, and I think the poll is going to be up for about 5 to 7 more minutes. Would you say, Chelsea?
Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, y'all. Y'all
Man, y'all
take
can
y'all
still,
time.
yeah, y'all can still ask questions if y'all have some.
Yeah, for real. Man, and I feel good about this. I feel
I
good.
told you y'all gonna be fine. Y'all did excellent. I love it.
Thank you. Now we do still have some of these roundtable discussion pieces if y'all wanted to go over them, but we don't have too much time left. But just about
I want to say y'all did a great, fabulous job, except one thing. Y'all did not see my hand being raised multiple times. I got a cramp.
But I
I'm
actually
just,
did see the
got
hand
virtual
raised, but
print.
you just ignored
were
me.
presenting.
My girl Chelsea just ignored me. That's okay.
They had
I
to
understand.
present. Okay.
This was really, really great. I appreciate it. It came out wonderful, great information. Y'all are superstars. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Alfredo.
Okay. Whole team, CED team.
CED.
And I want to say this was my pilot idea. I brought it to Chelsea and I brought it to Edwin. And I hope that for the other extension agents that are on here, I hope that y'all can collaborate with me. Y'all already know I always be like saying that stuff, but like I hope that we can be able to do more of these things and be able to, live stream these conversations and whatnot and get, Mr. Jimmy and everybody else and Nate and them to get on board with us so that we can try and be global nationwide, these discussions and just build upon this idea because digital presence is everything. And I think this flow and conversation, it with all the things in the resource is how people can be able to really connect with us.
I agree. Let's shoot for Valentine's Day 27. 2027.
Okay. Okay, the actual day. The
The
actual day.
actual day.
I'm excited about that. I got this power partnership thing. We're gonna do a night brunch and pretty much the same thing here at the Financial Institute. And so I did an activation outside of their building and I gave away like a free flower with a little together like go bag or whatever, like if you forgot your Valentine, here are all the tools and materials to give this to somebody with targeting the audience and whatnot. So
Yeah. And I think Janelle gave you a shout out in the chat. She said she got something coming up in April.
all right, now, Janelle, let's go. That sounds good. Okay, Myron saying Potter County. Okay, and the poll is about. Okay, Chelsea, that's for everybody. Y'all can see it. So the poll is closing. I want to say thank you again to everybody that was on here and my special star guest. Man, we did it, y'all.
Yep. Namaste.
Okay. Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Appreciate everybody for coming.
Bye.
See y'all later.